fresh air that every morning brings. Step outside and get a whiff. And what does that bring up for you? Some of us are very attuned to smells. Some of us are very much attuned to what we see. Others, it's what we hear. Or maybe what we taste or touch. All of our senses are part of the whole. And what dropped in this morning was how trusting are we of what we feel on a all-encompassing level. Because it's all about the senses, and if your senses are just a little bit of that, a little bit of this, but they're not fully engaged and balanced, then you may be a little off in your trust, a little bit off in your sensibility, right? Senses are all about the tasting, the touching, the feeling, the seeing, the hearing. It's all one. But we break it up a little bit. And really, what I was tapping into and reflecting upon was how much I used to should on myself. Now, I'm not saying I don't should on myself still, but I should have trusted my instincts. I should have trusted my gut. Because believe it or not, your gut, you hear often, you may have heard, your gut is your second brain. You know why? And you don't hear this part very much. You hear about your nervous system, you hear about your parasympathetic and your sympathetic nervous systems, the fight or the flight, the recovery after the stress, the adrenaline rush. But before any of that can be engaged, there's this enteric nervous system. And believe it or not, that's where the nerve endings are the most sensitive. They go right into the stomach. This is also our emotional center on the chakras. And so with this enteric nervous system, which they're still learning, science is still trying to catch up with all of this physical body as well as how it tunes into other bodies that we can't see. This enteric nervous system, it's so deeply integrated into our whole being that when we sense something, we feel something, it's a gut instinct. It's really, truly all part of that. And that before your sympathetic nervous system can kick in and, oh, a saber-toothed tiger is running after me, I have to flee. It's smarter not to fight, right? Well, you have to have a gut knowing. You have to know in your gut that this is a true threat, as opposed to something's familiar, I'm basing it off the past, which there's a connection there too. But it's heart over head versus head over heart, and it all has to start with the gut, and it all has to start with you trusting your gut instinct instead of going, oh, I knew I should have trusted that instinct. Oh man, I felt it in my gut. Something didn't feel right. I am a subscriber. I've been there, done that enough times in my life that when I would do it, I'd go, oh my gosh, I knew, I felt it. And that's where all those senses come in as well, because it's all connected. And that wholeness of trust is learning and trusting your own body's wisdom and learning its language and how it interprets and communicates to you, this is a moment we need to look at this. Hello, trying to get your attention. Now, the only times I've noticed for myself, I want to know about you as well, and let me know. When I feel something and I end up in my head so much that I start talking myself in or out of it, it's, oh my gosh, this feels familiar. Ooh, what does it remind me of? What does it remind me of? And it starts digging into the archives of the past. That's where I get in the most trouble myself. And that's what's caused me the distrust when I needed to trust. Have you ever had that happen? I want to know, so let me know in the comments. What is your experience? Do you notice that? Wow, how many times have I done that? Because when the head tries to rationalize and create all these stories, most of which are untrue, they're going into the emotional body, believe it or not, versus, what do I feel? What is this situation trying to tell me about myself? And which way should I go? That gut is super powerful. And it's also where our power center is. So the more you can learn to trust your gut instinct instead of getting caught up in the thoughts and the stories created in the head, and just trust to feel and know, I need to go in this direction. Not that doesn't make sense. It's never, I don't know that, so I have to only do what I know. Two totally different interpretations. Do you know you will actually build up this power center, this courage muscle, when you truly tap into the guts and the guts of your being, your feeling. You're really feeling it so you can really put your power behind it. It's all in that same area. But when you get up in here, believe it or not, you're more up in the air. You're more disconnected from your body when you're stuck in your head. Thoughts, just like clouds, can come in and go out. But those sensations, they stick with you, don't they? Some juicy stuff, and I can go deeper and deeper on that whole subject. That's a whole subject for another workshop. So, and I love my belly, I love my gut. It took me a long time to trust and know, oh goodness gracious, it was the foods I've been putting in it and the emotion behind why. Reaching for something could be all the distraction you need to take you out of the trusting and the knowing that you feel. So trust your intuition today. Tap more into it. Try not to let your head take you out of it, because it'll take you out. And today's card. I love this part. This is like icing on that cake. All right, what do we got? I'm going to grab a second one for this because this is kind of comical. So we actually pulled the exact same card that was sitting on the top of the deck. So we're going to take a second one because there's a second message in here if this is the first card. So the first card is love is never in vain. All right, there it is. Oh, this is super sweet. Okay. And it really is about, everything is going to boil down to learning to trust yourself. Anybody and everything can tell you one thing, but that doesn't make it true for you, and you have to know thyself. So love is never in vain. When you really see what this whole time space thing is all about, you're going to laugh, you're going to cry, and you're going to be so happy you loved as much as you did. Love dotingly the universe. Now we also pulled this several times already over the past couple rad reflections. It's a sign that love is never in vain. If you're questioning something, your first answer should be love. And what that means is, if you're in a fight or flight state, come back to the heart and tap into who your essence of being is, and that is love. Love isn't a doing, it's a being. So here we are, you're being watched by loving eyes. What if you are actually an ancient gladiator of love and joy who agreed to visit Earth during these primitive years to spark some new thinking, share a few smiles, and help others discover they too are awesome? Just saying, love the universe. P.S. Up for a joust? Of course with rubber thingies. I love that. You are being watched by loving eyes, and you are one of the loving eyes when you allow yourself to be in love. Literally, figuratively, fully engaging all of your loving senses. Love thyself. And remember, not only are you being watched over, but you're watching over others too. So let's have a rubber band, a little fun, get outside and play. Trust your instinct. If your instinct is to go, you know what, I want to do something fun like I was when I was a little kid. Trust it. That's what you would have done. Why wouldn't you want to do it now? So much love to you. Looking forward to the next time. And have an amazing day.